Hey there guys, how's it going? So welcome to today's lesson. I'm Dexter and I will be your drum teacher today. Right, we're going to be looking at a linear application. Linear drumming is where we're playing one thing at a time. And the linear phrase we have here is right, left, right, kick. And we're going to play right hand on the snare, left hand on the rack tom, right hand on the floor tom. A lot of people get that the wrong way around. They might go like right, right, left, or right, left, or right, left, left. Really pay attention to the sticking. You want it to be right hand snare, left hand rack tom, right hand floor tom. Right, left, right, followed by a kick. So that's your first group of four. Right, left, right, kick. And we're going to be putting that within a groove. And this one, this fits really nicely here, the way we've kind of put it. Because when you're doing a normal groove, you've got bass and snare and bass and snare. And we call that the backbeat, when the snare drum's kind of landing on beats 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this fill starts with a snare drum, and I've placed it on beat 2. So we've got 1 and 2. And that's where the fill's going to start. And because it starts with a snare, it's kind of like a continuation of the groove, but you're kind of going into this fill variation, which can make it sound really interesting. So just by learning this fill and kind of where it goes, you're just kind of broadening your horizons of where you can kind of place fills. So not just learning a fill, but kind of where to actually put the thing. So again, so putting it all together now, we have bass drum and hi-hat together to start the groove, followed by a hi-hat on its own, and then we have that fill. Right on the snare, left on the rack tom, right on the floor tom, kick. So first half, bass and right, left, right, kick. And that's 8th notes into 16th. So 1 and 2 E and If you're not sure what an 8th note or a 16th note is, don't worry about it. Just hit the drums and have a good time. So then, when we finish that right, left, right, kick, you're going to go onto a you're going to play bass drum with a crash cymbal. If you've got a couple of different crash cymbals, any crash cymbal works. So bass drum and a crash cymbal. Back to the hi-hat to play another hi-hat and bass drum. So that again, so bass drum and crash, bass drum and hi-hat, and then snare drum hi-hat and a hi-hat to finish. So the second half of this groove is just a normal bog standard groove, but with a crash at the start. So crash and crash and snare. So bass, bass, snare. Just remembering the crash at the beginning. And when you put it all together, you get this kind of groove that has this fill kind of slotted in the middle, and it's a linear fill that we're slotting in the middle there because it's one limb at a time. So bass and right, left, right, kick, bass and crash, bass, snare, hi-hat. So if you've got the fill down, that's awesome, but I really want you to pay attention to the placement and getting out of the fill. It's like going up a ramp on a skateboard. You're in the air, you do all your fancy tricks, and then just go and crash on the ground. So it's the landing that we need to work on. So you've got the fill, and the landing is getting back into the groove, and that is that bass and crash, but then also that second bass drum I've put in there. I think that's where a lot of people are going to struggle with this. So right, left, right, kick, bass drum and crash, another bass drum, then the snare, and it's just, people get confused with that. Again, I've taught this kind of thing a lot of times, and that's the area. The fill, I reckon you guys will get that down. It's the placement, trying to fit it in with a groove. So anyway, that's the fill, that's the application. I'm now going to play it up to speed a little bit and then make a little bit of a kind of short improvised solo, just demonstrating doing this in some kind of different styles. So here we go. There we go. So I hope you guys have some fun with that one. And please remember to subscribe if you're new. And again, you'll see there's a little join button next to the subscribe button. That takes you into the members only content. I've got a whole load of kind of courses and things coming out kind of based on this kind of thing. A couple of new courses that came out recently. We've got Intermediate Fills 1, which talks about placing crashes within fills. kind of placing that within things. I've got a whole course on that, which goes through kind of progressive exercises, helping build your kind of coordination and putting crash cymbals in these kind of weird and wonderful places. And there's also an advanced fills one, which came out last week, and that's to do with kind of linear drumming concepts, so more of this kind of one limb at a time, but we're talking about really kind of splitting up the hands from the feet. So a lot of that's, it's really good stuff to get into. So again, those courses progressively take you kind of from some simpler things into some much more kind of complicated versions of those concepts. So I hope you guys will check that out. And again, that's the membership kind of stuff that's going on there. And again, I am available for Zoom lessons if you would like one-to-one lessons with me. Anyway, you guys take it easy, and I'll see you guys for the next lesson.